Absolutely. Ben Abbott in the purple car alongside him is going to be the man that's going to try to stop him, the account manager from Ashford in Kent. But already the red lights go on and out they go. Pretty even start from both of them on the front row. A decent start as well from the car on the third row of the grid. Ben Hansey, car number 40, the champion from 2019 and 2020. But as they go down to Clervaux for the first time, it is the two drivers from the front row, Ben Short and Ben Abbott, then, that turn their way through Clervaux in the lead for the first time. There's a bit of sorting out to be done. 46 going through his Favreau. There's a spinner, that's Matthew Short, and he has been collected by more than one car in the end. Poor Matt, that's Ben's father. So a couple of them stranded, and are they going to get going again? It looks like they will, but I suspect Matthew Short might not get much further. He might need to pull off onto the side of the circuit where there's somewhere safe to do so.
The car that hit him the hardest was Tim Gray in triple one, but did see that been able to carry on, but yeah, damaged cars, they might not go too much further. 22 in there, that's Adrian Johnson. He's got a novice driver just up ahead of him, but it's Ben Short up front from Ben Abbott, George King in third, and Ben Hansey fourth up the inside through Croft, and Jordan Johnson just about held on to the circuit in his car. But there's one of the damaged cars. That's the Martini-esque liveried car of Tim Gray, and there's Matthew Short, rather sorry looking 72 BS Motorsport car. But both cars managed to leave the scene of the accident, which means we should be able to carry on racing. Yeah,
we should do so. Not expecting any safety car disruption. Because of that, they've both got their cars into positions of safety.
There was spots of rain on the camera lens, possibly there.
Glass half empty there, Josh. Oh, and a red flag. So the race has been stopped. And so is there still a car stranded down there? I can't see one. The safety car is on circuit. But maybe there's something that we're not aware of that has gone on. But the race being brought to a halt.
It's the other thing that might have happened was perhaps that car that had a lot of front-end damage to the burst radiator or something that put the fluid down they didn't think was safe. But yeah, there's glass, isn't there, on the circuit, which would be and lots of debris, so that's not really safe to continue, therefore.
Yes, so it looks like there's various clearing up to be done. Hopefully it won't take too long, but given the nature of what they're doing, it couldn't really be done under a safety car, I don't think. So I imagine what will happen is we'll get the cars brought back round behind the safety car onto the grid, and while that's being done, the marshals will get their brooms out and clear up, and we'll hopefully be able to get back underway for a restarted race in just a few moments' time. But the MX5 Mark 1's classics now, the Japanese roadsters, more than 30 years old. These cars, of course, now, so yeah, I think we can call them a classic, can't we? And now,
I think Ben Short's checking on his dad.
Yeah, I think he is. Yes, just making sure his father's okay. Would have seen that his car had pulled off that. I think he's pretty satisfied himself that his dad is okay. And is going to head back to retake up his pole position for the restart. He'd go back to the original grid because we'd had less than 2 laps when the red flags came up. But I imagine it will be a slightly reduced race distance. Not sure if we'll get an update on how many minutes the race distance will be. But we'll keep our eye out for the last lap board, come what may. So yeah, last year's champion in the 5 Club Racing MX5 Cup was indeed Ben Short. He had a pretty phenomenal record as well, didn't he? 12 wins and on the podium 19 times out of 19 races, so pretty convincing performance. So he was dominant in the end. He won the championship by 74 points over Ben Hansey, who took second, and Ben Abbott was third in the championship last year. They just got 1 win apiece, with other wins last year against Mike Comber. He had 2, Tom Roach had 1, and Ali Bray had a couple as well during the course of the season. But so 2/3 of the wins pretty much went to Ben Short, and deserved champion. He also won the title in 2017 and 2015 as well. But the champions, Ben Hansey, as we say, in 2019 and 2020. Paul Maguire won it in 2018. And Will Chambers in 2016. Croft last year, it was 2 wins for Ben Short and 1 for Tom Roach. This is where he made a guest appearance in the championship last year. He wasn't registered for points, but he did play a guest role in the championship last year. So who else have we got on the grid? Well, we've got, beside Ben Shaw, we've got Ben Abbott on the grid. As I say, the account manager from Ashford in Kent. He's started racing back in 2014. He was, as we say, 3rd in 5 Club in 2021. He was 2nd in 2019 in the standings, but a motorbike crash it was that forced him to miss half of the season that year, and it's in the Abbott Motorsport prepared car that we find Ben. Then next up on the grid, when we get the restart, it should be number 55, George King from Benfleet in Essex. He's an aspiring pro racing driver. He lists as his occupation. He's 21 years of age, and his father, also George, his mum Leslie as well. He started racing only in the very late part of 2020. He did 1 full winter season of the Gulf Radical Cup, and he became champion in that with 11 wins and 7 podiums. He did the Dubai 24-hour race twice and 1 season of 5 Club MX5 Cup in 2021. He didn't do any karting unusually, straight into Mazda MX5s, and enjoys competing at his local circuit of Brands Hatch. He's owned the car that he races for about a year now, just over a year, but it's maintained and it's run by Ben's team, Ben Short's team, BS Motorsport.
Yeah, at Dubai this year, and he did race GT4 BMW with Century Motorsport, so that's sort of the start of his aspirations, isn't it?
Yeah. So he's done a mix of things. MX5's in the UK and racing in the Middle East as well, in the Gulf Radical Cup as well. So,
but he's done really well here, hasn't he? To qualify 3rd, he's only a few hundredths off of Ben Abbott, who, with how successful he was last year. So he's really upped his speed, I think, from last season.
Absolutely right. And next to George on the grid today, we've got number 44. That's a newcomer, Matthew Hallam from Dilton Marsh. He's an account manager. 23 years of age. He started racing 4 years ago, and all his experience, I think, up to date has been in the Castle Combe Formula Ford 1600 Championship, the One Circuit Championship down there in Wiltshire. Unsurprisingly, Castle Combe is his favourite circuit. I think he's probably done a few one-off races elsewhere, but not a lot. And he's in the car that's being run by Tucker Motorsport, so James Tucker's team, running the car for Matt Hallam. Let's turn our attention, while we've got this break for a few moments, back to the Clios, and we can hear from another of the drivers that Josh spoke to yesterday.
We're here with Olivier Algeri, ahead of the Clio Sport Championship here at Croft. Olivier, your first time on a circuit today on the test day. How's it going?
Well, yeah, we've got a lot to learn. Obviously, first year in cars, just come out of karting, so we're taking it step by step, building up the pace, and yeah, hoping to get some good results.
Tell us a bit about your karting experience.
Well, yeah, I've been karting since the age of 6. I worked my way up to become one of the top drivers in Britain, being seeded last year, winning at British level. So yeah, we got to the top of that now. It's just time to get to the top of this.
There's obviously lots of different car championships to choose from, so what attracted you to the Clio?
Mainly just the experience. I know people with Clios, they said they're a great car, it'd be a great championship, big grids and good prices, so there's not much else you could ask for really.
Obviously a front-wheel drive car, so just this morning, what have you been finding the techniques, how to make it go quickly?
Oh yeah, it's not quite a go-kart, so you just got to be as smooth as I can and then iron out the mistakes and hopefully I'll get there.
And obviously come to the racecraft, come the races, it's going to be a bit different to karting. Is there any things you've been doing to try and figure out what the best way forward?
Well yeah, I've just got to get involved really, get stuck in and then see what I can do.
What do you think to this Croft circuit? Obviously a big open circuit, again very different to the karts.
Oh, yeah, very, very fast circuit, nothing like karting. It's all fast, on the throttle, yeah, it's brilliant.
And what are your aims for this season?
Honestly, no aims at the moment, I'll do as best as I can and then hopefully get some wins.
Best of luck for the weekend, hope all goes well.
Thank you.
So that was Olivier Algeri from the Clio Sport Championship, but we're back on the grid with the Switch MX5 Cup by 5 Club cars. Matthew Short's car being recovered. He was involved in an incident at Hawthorne on the opening lap of the original start just a few moments ago. He's okay, but the car not, and some debris on the circuit that needed to be cleared up as well. So we're just going through the grid, and I think we got as far as Matthew Hallam, hadn't we, on the second row. But Jordan Johnson's going to line up on the inside of the third row. You can just about see him there on the sort of left-hand rank of cars. Number 92, the third one back. He's 30 years of age from Gloucester, a HGV mechanic. Started racing in 2018. All of his experience so far has been in 5 Club. And he's been racing with his dad. It was his dad's car before this one. Chief Racing, it's known. Adrian is known as Chief, and he was the sort of won the sort of driver's driver type award for the MX5s at the annual awards recently. His dad actually is a little bit further back on the grid. He's on the outside of row 6 today. He's a truck driver, and he's got 4 sons. One of whom is Jordan, who's racing in car 92, as we've said, and he's in the self-prepared car. We understand the race is going to be 12 minutes when it gets underway. And it shouldn't be too far away now, I don't think, because the recovery vehicle's back on its way to the paddock. A bit further back, Jamie McCann, number 13. He's going to start 14th on the grid. Local driver from Yarm, and he's been racing since 2019 with the 750 Motors Club and the Northern Sports and Saloon Car Championship, as well as done motorbike racing as well, but he's keen to continue with the 750 Motor Club for the moment.
Bit of a theme, isn't there, of motorbike races we mentioned today, and in world motorsport that's a thing as well. So interesting to see as well. They seem to be quite successful, don't they, the bike racers that have been switching to 4 wheels.
Okay, we'll leave it at that for the moment, because the 30-second board is now being shown, so we're going to get back into racing for 12 minutes then for the 5 Club Racing MX5 Cup. Red lights go on. Out they go, and it's a pretty even start again from the 2 on the front. 44, Matt Hallam from the second row of the grid. Looked like he made a pretty useful start as well, as they head down the pit straight in towards Clervaux Corner for the first time. It is Ben Short that leads from Ben Abbott in second place. And then they all stream through. Do they all make it safely through the first couple of corners this time? So far, so good. We see the number 3 car, that's the grey car of Andrew Rochelle there, the driver from Birstall in Leicestershire. But it's Ben Short from Ben Abbott first and second, then George King third, as they make their way down to Tower Corner for the first time of this restarted race.
Ben Abbott feeling the need to defend a little bit there, wasn't he, from George King. There's Ben Hansey, who made a really good first start. This time he's unable to gain any places. He was trying there desperately on the inside of Jordan Johnson, but has to give way. There's the battle of a second. There are 3 of them. Ben Abbott, George King, who's sideways there out of the S's, and then Matthew Hallam, who's getting used to this new type of racing. They've really got a gap to the rest, which was headed by Jordan Johnson. Ben Short up front already trying to break the toe, and then from 5th back, everybody's there, aren't they, behind Jordan Johnson, with in 6th place former champion Ben Hansey. But into the complex they come. One of the Bollards going for a Burton in the background after being taken out. The markers through the complex have been so far surviving, haven't they? Over that last this MX5 race out, we're yet to see. But there, number 9, Ian Tomlinson, he's been around the championship for a while now, and he's right on terms there with Stephen Cragg, you say one of the real local drivers.
Absolutely right. So first lap completed, and it is Ben Short that is leading the way then, and he's pulled out quite a decent lead here over Ben Abbott in second place and George King in third. 4th place driver Matt Hallam not quite able to stay with them as things stand.
Stephen Cragg used all the road possible out of Clairvaux. I thought he was heading off into the gravel, but he managed to avoid it. That's a bit of local experience, knowing how much speed you can carry through that corner without going through the gravel.
Along the back straight towards Tower then for the second time. We're watching Stephen Craggs then in 7th place. Ian Tomlinson in 8th, just behind him. There's Tomlinson, he pulls to the right hand side of the circuit, tries to make a move on the inside at Tower Corner. He's side by side. Is he going to be able to get the move done? It's still pretty much neck and neck. We'll see what happens as they head towards the Jim Clark S's. It looks like Craggs has just about held on though, Josh, as they turn their way through the left and right flick at Jim Clark S's and head towards Barcroft.
Yeah, and Cragg started a row behind Tomlinson, so he's done well to get ahead of him early into this race. Adrian Johnson is up to 9th. He started 12th, so he's also progressed. Then you've got Thomas Holland up next. He lost out a bit at the start, so therefore he's trying to come back through. And then Lloyd Huggins is through next. Here comes Holland up the inside into the complex. He locks up a bit. Johnson sideways and spin. So a spin there then for Adrian Johnson. Then he made a good start. Well, he's lost a lot more places than what he gained in that spin. I don't think there was a touch, but it was all rather tight there into the complex.
Over the line goes Ben Short to complete his second lap then. Ben Abbott still in second place, bit further back still. You've got that scrap going on between Ian Tomlinson and Stephen Craggs. It's going to be Tomlinson on the inside line for Clervaux Corner. This is for 7th place, and he's gone through this time, number 9. Ian Tomlinson, the driver from Lancashire, goes through ahead of the Yorkshireman Stephen Craggs. And that is a change for 7th position, and they are a distance behind Ben Hansey, who's still there in 6th place and not made the impact that you thought he might have done in this race so far.
Yeah, for whatever reason, Ben Hansey hasn't got the pace that he's had for the last few seasons. So he'll be working on that, I'm sure, over the course of the weekend. The MX5's the only championship, isn't it, that's got 3 races over the course of this weekend. Here's a battle a bit further back. That's Nico Favreau on the inside line, trying to hang on ahead of Andrew Rochelle, new driver, and obviously Cross on the back, so he's going nicely inside the top 15. Meanwhile, Tomlinson now ahead of Craggs is under as much pressure as he was putting on to Craggs at the beginning of the lap. And they turn their way on to Sunny, battling for 7th and 8th positions in this restarted race. And they then head off towards the complex, where you can see Matthew Hallam turning through in 4th, being caught, I think, a bit by Jordan Johnson, who's in 5th position. Then 6th Ben Hansey, here's the battle for 7th, Ian Tomlinson ahead of Stephen Craggs.
7 minutes left to go, and it's Short leading, but best battles are further back at the moment. Still this fight for 7th and 8th going on. Craggs and Tomlinson behind them. You've got Thomas Holland in 2:30, Lloyd Huggins in number 14, and Jamie McCann number 13 in 9th, 10th and 11th positions.
And meanwhile, Ben Short has just set a new lap record up front at 1 minute 40.05. That's a 10th of a second quicker than he went here 11 months ago.
Yes, first of 2 meetings this season to Croft for the 750 Most Club. We're back here in May as well. First time we've had 2 visits here. And always a circuit that provides very good racing, and I think the competitors do enjoy coming here as well. Now is that battle for 9th, 10th and 11th just going through shot. Thomas Holland 2:30 at the head of that group. The drive from Western Supermare, so he's had a fair old schlep up the M5 and so forth to get here today. I noticed on the comments on YouTube earlier on that Matt Pennyfather Neal not here this weekend. He's got a bout of COVID, so best wishes to you, Matt, for a swift recovery. As we're watching Thomas Holland and Lloyd Huggins going through Sunny in 9th and 10th positions. Turning their way through Sunny now, you can see Thomas Holland with the BS Motorsport logo on the side of his car, and indeed the trademark checkered flag design. 44 and 92, so this is the battle for 4th. So this is Jordan Johnson now in the grey car on the right hand side of shot, piling the pressure onto Matt Hallam. Well, they've both got about the same amount of experience in terms of the number of years racing, but all of Matt Hallam's racing before now has been in Formula Ford 1600, so how much practical use that is today, not quite sure.
Jordan Johnson's going to try and make the move. He's on the outside line into Clervaux, and he brakes really late. Can he get the car turned in front? Yes, he can. That was a really good move. I thought Matthew Hallam was defending well on the inside line, but actually Jordan Johnson on the outside could brake so late that he could get the car in front and not have to worry about really going round the outside, because he'd already moved ahead before he turned into the corner and could take the line. But this is bringing Ben Hansey into it. There's 3 cars in all of this. You can hardly see Hansey's car there in the shot. They come straight towards the camera, but it is Johnson then in 4th. Hallam trying to fight back, but he's got to watch out because there's a car right on his rear bumper, which is Ben Hansey then, as they come off of Tower Corner and up towards into Jim Clark S's then, and it is Johnson, Hallam, Hansey. Couldn't really be any closer, these three cars, without overlapping as they turn their way onto Barcroft and then breaking down into Sunny.
Further back, Jamie McCann has had the black and white driving standards flag pointed in his direction, or waved in his direction. So I suspect that's for a track limits infringement. That's usually what it is.
But Ben Short's gone to 1:39s now, 1 minute 39.70, which is quicker than he went in qualifying this morning. And he leads by 1.8 seconds over Ben Abbott.
Yeah, Ben Abbott and George King just about a second apart, unable to do anything about Ben Short ahead of them, unfortunately for them, as we continue to watch the fight for 4th and 5th and 6th, with Matt Hallam there just ahead of the double champion Ben Hansey. He'll be happy that he's ahead of someone who's had so much success in this championship over the past 3 or 4 seasons, but he'll have been frustrated to lose out to Jordan Johnson, and Johnson has pulled away from him now as well.
Yeah, Matt Hallam sort of dropping back, isn't he, a little bit after a good start in this section of the race. Yeah, his lap times have dropped off a little bit as well, but can he hang on to 5th? Will Ben Hansey try and take it away from him? I'm sure heading up towards Tower again. Matt Hallam defending. I think you learn a lot about defending, don't you, Formula Ford 1600, but nevertheless Ben Hansey looks up the inside. After defending down the straight, Matt Hallam sort of gave him the inside line, didn't he, into Tower, so that perhaps didn't work out quite as I expected, and Hansey's gone through up to 5th.
He has indeed. So Hansey now into P5, Hallam going backwards, I'm afraid, down to P6. There's the battle for 7th and 8th still going on, really, because Ian Tomlinson hasn't been able to shake off Stephen Craggs. So that's 9 and 47 in 7th and 8th places. Further back, here is a battle outside of the top 10. It is for, I think, 18th and 19th position. Andrew Robertson and Jeremy Rivers-Fletcher involved there. So this is towards the back of the field. Jeremy Rivers-Fletcher in the blue car, you can see on the left-hand side of shot. I mean, it's 4 of them at it, even for these minor placings. It's absolutely fantastic to see the racing all the way down the order. I think it's Mary Barnard and David Brown involved in this as well.
And Jeremy Rivers-Fletcher's got to the front of it, into the S's there, getting ahead of Andrew Robinson. As they turn their way then onto Sunny. See novice cross there on the back of Mary Barnard's car. I think she did a couple of race meetings at the end of last season, but yet to complete her 6th race, so therefore yet to remove the novice cross. Yeah,
another local driver as well. I think she's 28. She said she started racing this year, but I'm sure we saw her last year as well. But this is her favourite circuit as well, because it's her home track and the car built by her dad, Paul, as well.
So they turn through, and another novice cross there at the back of this group. That's David Brown in 27. And just a bit further up the road is Stephen Rees, who's 16th. He's just set his personal best lap of the race at 1 minute 44.19, and he's turning his way then up through Hawthorne. He's a few seconds ahead of the battle we have been watching. A bit further up the road though, that is Lloyd Huggins in 9th, ahead of Thomas Holland in 10th. Not far behind them is James McCann. They've got to lap another novice driver, which is Stephen Lewington's Mazda MX5. Don't think we got the last lap board, did we, this time?
No, not yet.
So we've got one more lap at the end of this. Holland trying to get past Huggins here. Again, Lloyd Huggins has been supporting the 5 Club Racing Championship for quite a number of seasons now.
Yeah, and good battle that's going on between those two. Has changed around in recent laps, that position. They are going to get the last lap board this time, because Ben Short's about to cross the line now with 17 seconds left on the clock, and he's now in that sort of showboating mode he gets into in the late stage race. He was very spectacular through the complex behind our commentary box on the lap that he's just completed. But here's this fight for 9th and 10th, and it's a BS Motorsport car in 10th position at the moment as well.
The battle behind Ben Short have both gone quicker than the previous lap record. So Ben Abbott and George King are going quickly, just not as quick as Ben Short is able to go. And George King's got into the 39s now, which is nearly a second quicker than he went in qualifying. So it's impressive from the 2nd and 3rd place drivers. So probably actually Ben Hansey isn't going much slower than he was last season. It's just that other drivers are going quicker.
Often the way though, isn't it? Often the way. Grid for the next race is set by the result of this one, remember? So it will be Ben Short on pole position for that as things stand.
Matthew Hallam's almost been caught by Ian Tomlinson now, hasn't he?
He has, and I suspect that he'll just about hang on because there's only half a lap to go, but...
Yeah, Hallam's sort of doing a similar lap times to what he did in qualifying, but the drivers who started behind him are going quicker than they went in qualifying, therefore he's not going quite as quickly as those cars around him.
Just seeing that way. So through Croft up towards the double right at Sunny they go. And there, I told you, there's Ben Short making his way through the complex for the final time. Into the hairpin he goes. He's got a good couple of seconds in hand over his namesake, Ben Abbott, who's going to take second place. So he's going to come up to the line to complete his 8th and final lap of the race, and he wins round number 1 of the 2022 5 Club Racing by MX5, 5 Club Racing MX5 Cup. And he's done it by about 4 seconds in the end from Ben Abbott in second place, with George King only a couple of tenths behind Ben Abbott in the end, taking third.
Ben Short set the fastest lap on the last lap, 1 minute 39.45, which is 7 tenths underneath last year's pace. So if the track is a bit quicker than it was last year, it's a bit cooler, isn't it? Whether that's helping to that, or whether he's just going a lot faster than he did last year. But nevertheless, he's taken the victory. The rest of the field are coming through. The top 3 well ahead of the rest, weren't they? With Adrian Johnson in 4th, 15 seconds behind at the flag. Ben Hansey and Matthew Hallam completed the top 6, and Mary Barnard has had a moment on her final lap of the race, which she looks like will take the flag a few minutes later than what she would have liked.
She will indeed. So good first race of the weekend for the 5 Club Racing MX5 Cup. All of these cars on Avon tyres, of course. They're back out again for 2 more races tomorrow. I think they open... no, they don't. They're the second race on tomorrow, about 1 o'clock, and the penultimate race tomorrow at 3:45. So 2 more opportunities to see the 5 Club Racing MX5 Cup in action tomorrow. And I'm sure it'll be a couple more cracking contests after a very entertaining first race, even if Ben Short did make it look relatively easy out front. So let's have a look at the results of the opening race of the season. It was a win for number 1, Ben Short, from number 93, Ben Abbott in second place. In third place was George King, 55, 4th, 92, Jordan Johnson. 5th, the double champion, Ben Hansey in car 40, and Matt Hallam eventually slipped back to 6th place, car 44. 7th, number 9, Ian Tomlinson. 8th, 47, Stephen Craggs. 9th, number 14, Lloyd Huggins, and Tom Holland in 2:30, rounded out the top 10. Further back, Jamie McCann was 11th, just ahead of Dave Abbott. Nico Favreau, a very good result, actually 13th in car 46, and Andrew Rochelle in 14th, number 3. Adrian Johnson had a spin, but came home to finish 15th in car 22, ahead of Stephen Rees. Alex Dillington, Jeremy Rivers, Fletcher, the number 90 car of Andrew Robinson, and Dave Brown in number 27. 2 of the finishers, Mary Barnard after that moment on the final lap, and the 60 car of Stephen Lewington was the last of the finishers. We lost a couple of cars, of course, on the original start. 2 more races for the MX5 tomorrow, but we've got some more Mazda power this afternoon because the Mazda 7s will be up next here at Croft. 3 more races after that as well. The Hot Hatches, the BMW Car Club Racing Championship, and the Type R Trophy to round out day 1 here at Croft Circuit. So lots more to look forward to before the end of the day. As you can see, have stopped down in the pit lane. The rest of the field are heading into Parc Fermé for their post-race eligibility scrutineering checks. But we can go down to the pit lane now, and we'll hear from Chris Stephens talking to Ben Short.
Well, the winner of the first 5 Club Racing MX5 Cup race of the weekend is Ben Short. Ben, you were a late addition to the entry list, but you certainly weren't underprepared for that race.
No. I really like Croft. Had cracking racing here last year with one of the old MX5 legends of Tom Roach. So we, looking forward to this weekend. Wasn't meant to be racing, but then I thought I really wanted to. So yeah, we put in a late entry, and car's running perfect as always. So brilliant job to BS Motorsport and the lads for sorting it out.
How many entries can we expect from you this season?
We'll have to wait and see. I'm hoping to do. I'd like to do Cadwell and Alton, and I'll do Castle Coombe because it's a nice local circuit. I think I might have a few plans later on, so might have to miss a few, but hope to get a good few in because I still like driving these cars a lot.
Well, congratulations on another very impressive victory.
Thank you.
And good luck for race 2. Let's talk to car number 93, Ben Abbott. Ben, this is a very positive start to your season and potentially your championship.
Yeah, I'm happy with P2. Haven't quite got the measure of Ben Short, but yeah, it's going to be a good close battle between the three of us for the next few races. But yeah, I'm happy with that result.
Are you expecting a similar pace in race 2?
Fingers crossed, yeah. Subtle tweaks on the car, I think, to make it a bit more stable. Try and get the tyres to last a bit longer into the end of the race because they fell off a little bit towards the end. But overall, really good. Yeah, hopefully next race we'll repeat it, if not go one higher.
Is that anything to do with the surface, the tyres going off a little bit?
To be honest, I don't really know. I think it's running a little bit soft, so I need to do dampers a bit more, and that hopefully give me a bit more, less slide in the car and more planted. But we'll see.
Okay, well, congratulations. Second place, and good luck for race 2. And do we have George King? Yes, we do. Hello. Hi. So, yeah, first time on the podium. Great job.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a long time coming. All of last year, kind of in top 5 by the end of it, and then finally on the podium. So we made it finally.
Should we expect this pace for the rest of the season?
Hope so. Yeah. Yes, I'll say yes. Keep it positive.
All right, good man. Well, good luck for race 2. Back up to you, Ian. Next up, it's the Yokohama Mazda 7s out next.